Okay, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back to Jonathan Reynolds. Last video we talked about Jonathan Reynolds, who's the Labour's shadow business secretary, the man who went on TV and defended net zero measures and said we have to push even harder and further when it comes to the green agenda, defended ULEZ and low traffic neighbourhoods. He also was interviewed about the Labour Party's manifesto and the spending commitments. This was a car crash interview from this moment onwards because he had no idea what he was talking about, and he kept repeating the same line like a robotic Labour politician, saying, yeah, the manifesto is costed, it's fully costed. Let's go and watch this entertainment.
The Conservatives have identified Labour having 90 billion in uncosted spending commitments. How are you going to pay for these policies?
Simple question, right? Very straightforward.
Well, that's nonsense. The Conservative Party itself, its own record on the economy is so dire. We see these kind of allegations now and again where we've put forward any revenue spending increases that we want to make. So with the health service, that is funded by scrapping the non-dom rule, the tax regime for the super rich. Our plan for breakfast clubs is funded by the change in taxation regime.
Doesn't make...
You're not answering the question.
90 billion,
education
though, does it?
in the UK. No, but it doesn't add up to 90 billion because that's the Conservative Party and their researchers trying to make up some figures. Any spending pledges that we've made are funded specifically from the revenue we would raise. So when you've got that health policy, you've got the non-dom policy that would pay for that.
How much? That's the question.
You've got commitments to breakfast clubs. They're funded by the changes to the private school education. There will be increased investment spending under a Labour government. That is to leverage in the greater private investment that we need, because we cannot continue with an economy with the lowest business investment in the G7, where growth is lower than it should be, even by historical standards in the UK. And that
Okay. So what Jonathan Reynolds does, and we actually talked about it last video. Sorry to interrupt. I have to do it because of copyright issues every now and then. So he talks fast, which is extremely annoying. And he just keeps ranting to prevent the interviewer from actually interrupting and actually trying to take him back to the main question. It makes no sense why these people are being sent on TV every single time.
It's part of our policy, but I reject entirely the Conservative claim that we make spending.
If it isn't 90 billion
commitments, that's just not the case.
Okay, what's the figure then if it isn't 90 billion?
No, I don't recognise that figure at all.
Oh.
What is the figure?
What is the figure?
There are no uncosted spending.
But how much are you planning to spend?
In the Labour
how much
policies
public money are you planning to spend on some of these pledges? If it's not 90 billion and that figure's wrong, can you give me the headline figure, please?
Okay, again, straightforward question. You say it's already costed. You say you've already calculated. What is the number?
Okay, so the scrapping the non-dom tax regime raises 3.2
No, I'm talking about Labour spending pledges.
Used to expand the NHS workforce.
Just answer the question.
I'm talking about the cost of Labour spending pledges.
The aggregate spending pledges. I'm telling you where there are specific increases in public service revenue spending. We always say where that money would come from, and that
you're not answering it.
I can give you specifics for each of those, and I reject entirely the Conservative lines they put out that there are any uncosted spending commitments.
I get it. You're rejecting 90 billion, but you must know the total cost of everything you've pledged to spend.
Yeah. How much have you pledged to spend?
What's that headline figure if it's not 90 billion?
I don't have the aggregate figure for all of our pledges. I can tell you where each spending commitment comes from when we make it. But I think what we see from the Conservative Party on this is, frankly, embarrassment at their record, embarrassment at the Liz Truss era, the Kwasi Kwarteng era that crashed the economy. And
They did not crash the economy. They announced a budget which was not implemented. I don't think these people know the definition of crashing the economy. If the economy crashes, you're not going to live. Also, we already know that the Tory government have been terrible in the economy. Stop talking about it. Talk about the Labour government.
Sort of absurd claims they put forward without any basis for them. If they're making that claim, they should be able to put out where they've added that up to, and they can't do that because they know they're frankly covering for themselves and the awful record they've got.
You could argue, Mr. Reynolds, that you should be able to add up how much all of your spending pledges have cost.
I mean, it is genuinely baffling, in the words of Nigel Farage, baffling what we have in terms of the political class, the quality or lack of quality these days from both sides, the Tory side and the Labour side. So embarrassing, at least at the time, decades ago, when you had even the Labour politicians who were on the socialist side and they were just completely nonsensical when it comes to their policy ideas. At least they had conviction and they knew how to speak and how to present their ideas and how to sell those policies. They knew how to try to be in touch with society, at least try. And they were still corrupt, but that doesn't change. That's just the nature of the political culture. But this class of politicians, I feel so sorry for the country on behalf of all of us. Let me know what you think. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.